So just because a university looks really expensive to you beforehand, it might not mean that you couldn't afford it, because some universities are really expensive, but they have a significant amount of funding available to students, and sometimes you won't know until you apply and you actually get the answer from the university of whether they can accept you and how high the scholarship will be. So some do's and don'ts in the application process. Really make sure that you apply on time and you have all the copies ready. You RSVP if they ask you questions or if they need more documents from you, that you send them as soon as possible. And it's really important that you have enough time for the application process, because it can be really time consuming. Also register early enough for tests, because a lot of the tests such as the SAT, the ACT, the TOEFL, the GRE, the GMAT, you can retake them. Sometimes it's a period of about 60 days, so if you don't do very well on the first test, you might want to repeat it, and you might want to have enough time to study more so that you can reach a higher score on retesting. And then make sure that you write the essay or your personal statement as a reflection of yourself. Don't write something that you think the university would like to hear from you. And also don't copy someone else's essay or let someone else write it for you. It should really be a reflection of yourself, because if you write it properly and the institution gets an interest in you, then you are really a great match for that institution. Also very important, check grammar and spelling throughout your whole application. And challenge yourself academically. Don't choose something that is below of what your study ability is. Go for, take a good selection of institutions, maybe something on a higher level, and then mix it up with some institutions that you think might be a good match for you as well and are on a little bit of a different level, so that you have a security university that you could get into as well. Don't stop working hard. It would be a shame if you are in high school and you have good grades, but then in the last 2 years you drop down and your grades aren't as good anymore. It looks better to universities if you improve your grades during the last 2 years. Some institutions can look at several years of your high school to see how you develop throughout your high school years before they accept you. And of course, get involved at your high school. Try to take on some leadership roles or be involved in clubs and organizations, because that will also show institutions that you're a valuable candidate for them if they accept you. Also very important, get to know your teachers and counselors on time, because those are the ones that will write your recommendation letters. And if they don't know you, they won't know what to write about you. And that can be your ticket into a university as well. If you have great recommendation letters and your high school teachers write great things about you and your academic abilities, says a lot about you in the application process with universities. And then you should also investigate career opportunities, because for example, if you choose a field such as law or medicine, you might want to find out if you can really use that degree back in your home country. Because if you study a certain amount of years in another country, for example in medicine, and then you get your degree and you can't use it back in your home country, you might want to ask yourself what your goal is. If you want to stay in the US, you will definitely be able to use it. But if you go back, it might not be possible, and that should be very important to you to find out how well you can utilize that degree. So thank you very much for attending today's presentation, and we're now opening it up to questions.